I don't know if a lot of you other people have had this same issue, but I just wanted to kind of talk about the job market in America. And to be completely blunt, and for lack of a better term, how fucked the job market is today. So, I've been unemployed for a little while now, and I'm also living away from my home state in a different state that I'm not fond of, actually, and that's just unnecessary information. But what I will say is that the job market is using newer terms, I guess, as well. The job market is just cooked. Okay. You have all sorts of issues as far as immigrants taking whatever job they can take. And you're going to always hear, well, they're doing the jobs that people don't want to do, that Americans don't want to do. And while that is true for the most part, right? That's true for a majority of the situation. Still doesn't it still doesn't really help out when everything is just so fucked and everything is just so torn apart. It's hard to get a job right now, right? And a lot of things are really the reason for it. A lot of there's a lot of little things. But what's interesting to me is that we live in a country where you're told that you go to college and you get a master's degree and you get all this fucking shit, right? And then you're gonna be front in line for a job. You're gonna be the first one to get a job over somebody else. But then there's schmucks that are getting jobs in front of folk that went to college. So then where did that college go to? And now you're just in debt. And then on the other hand of it, it's that you went to college, but you're in the same group of schmucks that can't get a job now. So now you're waving around this fucking diploma and you're waving around all this debt. I went to college for this many years for this, and now you can't get a job. So where did college get you, buddy? And then there's just folk like me that weren't fortunate enough to go to college. So you're left with just the work experience that you were able to just accumulate over the last few years. And I'm almost 30 years old and I've been working since I was 17, so I have a few things on my resume, ranging from, culinary art experience to customer service. And it just kind of seems like in this day and age, none of that shit matters. It does not matter who you know or what you have done. It all seems like it just solely depends on really just who you know, if your daddy has money, or if you're just lucky enough. I don't know, maybe you kiss enough ass and maybe somebody will help you out. And that is the sad reality that we live in right now in this country. And who knows whether it's going to get better or not, Doesn't matter who your political preference is. Doesn't matter if, it's Kamala or if it's Trump. Who knows if anyone's going to be able to make this shit better. That's the reality of it, This is the country that we're living in. And on the other hand, people can sit here and say, well, then just leave the country. Go somewhere else. If you have that much of a problem with America, then just go somewhere else. Some of us aren't that fortunate, buddy. That's what I'd say. Some of us aren't that fortunate. Would I want to leave this country? Absolutely. Do I see people that lived in America go to Europe and, oh, this is why it's better to live in Europe, or this is why it's better to live in yada yada. And you think that doesn't give me the thought, like, damn, shit, if somebody buys me a plane ticket right now, you think I would just refuse to go to the airport? I think that you should stop being such a smooth-brained moron and realize that this is the extent of what we have to deal with now. Inflation is through the roof. Bills are through the roof. All sorts of things are through the roof. And there's nothing that we can do about it at all. There's nothing we can do about it. So now, the job market is in the shitter. It's hard to get a job no matter what your experience or your college schooling is. And everything as far as our economy and prices of things are just fucked. And I feel like, there's a lot of things that also affect things like mental illness, but coming from a person that openly will say that I have my emotional issues. It doesn't make anybody any better. Hell, I'd even go off on a whim and say, I wonder what the rate of people unaliving themselves have been since the US has been in this state. I wonder if it's gotten worse, because I wouldn't be surprised if it's gotten worse. And you shouldn't be surprised if that's crossed my mind at any point. That is the reality now. That is where we are as a society. It's unbelievable. It really is, you know. It really is just it's crazy. And it's been this way since they fucked us with I don't know if it's really, if it's, you know, if people really just kind of come out and say what they gave us, because I know it was on purpose. I'm not gonna sit back and ever deny the fact that they probably did that shit to make us guinea pigs so that they can review vaccinations to save their asses and their generation's asses in the future. But you know, this country, it's always been fucked, but it has definitely gotten worse since the pandemic. And they want you to just sit back and keep working these corporate jobs and keep being a guinea pig for them, and they don't expect anybody to do anything about it. Because guess what? No one does anything about it. And that's just where we're at, folk. That is where we're at. Stick around for more topics. I'm going to be doing this more and just talking about what the hell is going on.